Okay, I'm back with your weekly roundup. So let's get started. And again, as always, if there's a news item that I don't go into properly in depth, I cannot talk, in depth with, just let me know and I will go more in depth. Or if there's something that you think that should be brought to my attention, definitely also do that in the comments. I always wanting to learn more news that you think is important, because that's why I go through things like business and markets, because for the most part, I don't care, but someone might. So absolutely, if there's something that I don't go over that you think I should go over, let me know. Alright, with that out of the way, let us begin with the thing that happened yesterday. Alright, so Secretary of State Antony Blinken postponed a visit to China after a Chinese spy balloon was tracked flying across the United States. China apologized for the airship, saying it was blown off course and was being used for weather and science research. A Pentagon spokesman said the balloon changed course and demonstrated a capability to maneuver. So, yeah, weather balloons don't do that. Their whole point is to just go where the atmosphere takes it, because the whole point is to track the weather. Yeah, this is something different. And now I'm reading that there was another one found in Latin America. They said a second one, whereas yesterday Canada said that they found a second one. So I don't know now if they're talking about the one in Latin America, that they just found it there, or if there's another one somewhere. But anyway, yeah, that's the other thing. Weather balloons don't congregate. So the fact that this is like the second or third one, yeah, probably not a weather balloon. So the State Department said the trip would happen at the earliest opportunity when conditions would allow. Let's see. Both sides have something to gain from avoiding what looks like steps toward a new Cold War, leading some experts to scratch their heads over just what China was intending to convey. Now, they're very pissy about Taiwan. So, because Russia is seemingly failing spectacularly to get what they wanted out of Ukraine, unless their whole objective was just to destroy the country. In which case, they're not failing spectacularly, but if they're trying to take over Ukraine, yeah, not doing really well with that. So maybe China's thinking, well, maybe if we scare Americans shitless, maybe they won't try to stop us if we do the same thing with Taiwan that Russia is failing to do with Ukraine. That's just wild speculation on my part. I just don't know what the purpose would be, because they have satellites. So there is literally nothing that they could find out that they don't know already. So yeah. Alright. Moving right along. Alright. Ukraine's president hosted European Union leaders in Kyiv to discuss further sanctions on Russia. Zelensky also said Ukraine would fight to hold the city of Bakhmut, which they're doing, which Moscow said its forces were encircling. EU leaders did not commit to a quick timeline for Ukraine to join the bloc, which I don't blame them. I mean, on the one hand, they are being attacked, but at this point, what would joining the bloc gain them that they're not already getting? So why hasten it when there are probably other countries that have been waiting longer? So I do get that. Let's see. Zelensky has been indefatigable in his appeal for more weapons, the latest of which are rockets that can hit targets deep behind Russia's front lines. Russian forces will need to adapt or face potentially catastrophic losses. Why do we want them to adapt? We don't. The only thing I feel bad about are the cannon fodder that they call their soldiers. Because you know that's all they see them as is cannon fodder. They honestly do not give a shit about these soldiers. They just, if they're not motivated and if they're not being treated like human beings, I just don't see where Russia thinks that they're going to win. I mean, if soldiers don't have any morale or any reason to fight, I just don't see what they think they're accomplishing. Alright. A U.S. short seller report raised concerns about the finances of the Adani Group, one of India's top conglomerates, and the fallout in markets has been huge. The Indian government began a review of Adani financial statements and other regulatory submissions. Short sellers are curious to know how Hindenburg, the group that issued the report, made its bet. And the fact that there is a research group named the Hindenburg, who the hell this looks at a huge tragedy, namely the Hindenburg tragedy, and thinks, yes, let's name our research firm after this great tragedy. That's a bad look. I mean, unless there's some deeper point that the idea is to take down conglomerates, I honestly don't know why anybody would think naming their research firm Hindenburg is a good idea. All right. Let's see. Shehbaz Sharif said the IMF was giving his country, Pakistan, a tough time over unlocking funding. The country's foreign exchange reserves. Let's try that again. I ended the sentence before it was ended. Shehbaz Sharif said the IMF was giving his country a tough time over unlocking funding. The country's foreign exchange reserves with the central bank fell to a little more than $3 billion. The rupee fell further, and a suicide bomber killed more than 100 people in Peshawar. So, yeah, the country's doing real well. So, yeah. Things are dire in Afghanistan, where more than 170 people have died because of cold weather in recent weeks. Okay, that's something new. Don't believe I mentioned that this week. Okay. ExxonMobil set a company record and a historic high for the Western oil industry with a $56 billion net profit for 2022. Its financial results and those of Shell and Chevron prompted renewed criticism and sparked calls for more windfall profit taxes. Yes. I mean, seriously, oh my God, my brain just died. We're in a Oh, Lord. We're not in inflation anymore. Apparently, it's coming down, but still. All of last year, we were dealing with inflation, and they've been saying from the very get-go that gas prices didn't have to be this high, and now they're proving it. Now these gas companies are proving it by saying, "Oh yeah, we achieved record profits." Oh yeah, that's great. Let's just make it so everything is so insanely high that the average person can't afford anything. But, by all means, let's applaud that your shareholders made record profits. No, let's not. I don't know, give people a break. I mean, all these people can afford, their shareholders can afford not making quite as much money, just so people don't have to pay an exorbitant amount of money to fill up their tank. Jesus Christ. All right. Meta pleased investors with stricter cost controls. Alphabet and Amazon offered more subdued results and forecasts. A U.S. jury took 2 hours to find Elon Musk and Tesla not liable for misleading investors over one of Musk's tweets. Plaintiffs have claimed billions in damages. Okay, so the Meta thing is new. Let's see. Now, Elon Musk. So apparently, I'm just guessing, I haven't read the article, but I'm guessing that the reason Musk was found not liable is because they've discovered, the jury realized he's a fucking idiot. And the reason I say he's an idiot is because he, Twitter is a great example, but he claimed that he had private funding taken care of in order to take Tesla public now, or private, or whatever. But that funding didn't go through, apparently, and so the stockholders ended up losing money. So probably the jury realized that, based on what's going on Twitter, that he's just an idiot. I mean, he just was so sure that the funding was there that it never occurred to him that the Saudis might screw him over. And now the same shit is happening with Twitter. What the hell? How many times do you have to be fucked over before you learn something? A 2-year-old has better business sense than this idiot. Alright, now let's see if there's any other headlines that need to be mentioned. Let's see. The United States has planned to cut traffic deaths. That's always a good thing. Slash credit card fees. Okay. And protect airline passengers. I don't have to worry about credit card fees because I pay my shit on time, because I don't treat my credit cards like free money. So I don't get into trouble. And protect airline passengers, which, all three good things. Its latest jobs report showed blowout job growth with unemployment at 3.4%, its lowest since 1969. Let's see. What to expect? Further rate increases from the Fed, because God forbid we would have low unemployment. Okay, Pope Francis has harsh words for rich nations that exploit African countries, which would be Russia and China at the moment. They're the ones that are pushing into Africa. And Australian authorities recovered a very small radioactive capsule that fell off a truck in the outback. Okay, which I went into detail with earlier this week. Let's see. What other headlines do we have? All right, let's look at science. Apparently, there have been new ideas to revive farm soil and using concrete to trap carbon dioxide. That's interesting. I already briefly mentioned that a statue was unearthed of a Roman emperor posing as Hercules. This is interesting. Apparently, we found the origins of ancient Egypt's mummification ingredients. And the creation on Earth of a form of ice more likely to be found in space. Right? So, I believe that's all I have for this weekly roundup. So, I will see you all on Monday. Yeah, Monday. Unless something really stupid hits out and I just have to make a video about it. So, with that, I will see you Monday.